The education scam. Trained to obey, not to think. What if the purpose of school isn't to teach you to think, but to obey? What if instead of preparing you for life, school is designed to mold you into a perfect worker, one who rarely questions, and always follows? Let's uncover the uncomfortable truth behind the education system, backed by powerful insights and shocking evidence. Chapter 1. Built for industry, not people. What if I told you the school system you know was never built to help you reach your full potential? Our education system hasn't changed much since the Industrial Revolution. It was specifically designed to produce obedient factory workers, punctual, compliant, and unquestioning. The modern model was designed in the 19th century to produce obedient, punctual factory workers. Bells, rigid schedules, and age-based grouping were borrowed from the Prussian system. Horace Mann himself, a pioneer in American education, openly designed schooling to produce disciplined workers rather than critical thinkers. Forbes and the Foundation for Economic Education confirm this design was about control and efficiency, not empowerment. Chapter 2. Hidden Curriculum of Obedience. What if I told you your most important lessons were never in the textbooks? Taylor Gatto, award-winning teacher, identified 7 hidden lessons: confusion, knowing your place, indifference, emotional and intellectual dependency, conditional self-worth, and constant surveillance. Students learn to wait passively for instructions, rely on external validation, and suppress their natural curiosity. School trains children to obey reflexively. Teach your own to think critically and independently. Taylor Gatto. Chapter 3. Financial Ignorance. What if I told you 12 years in school won't teach you how to handle your own paycheck? Despite money management being essential for adulthood, most schools ignore financial literacy. OECD data from 2020 reveals nearly 60% of young adults feel financially unprepared after graduation. Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad insists this neglect is intentional, keeping many trapped financially, working paycheck to paycheck, never truly achieving financial freedom. School teaches you to work for money. Rich people teach their kids how to make money work for them. Robert Kiyosaki. Chapter 4. Ignoring Mental Health and Emotional Skills. What if I told you we teach trigonometry but not how to handle depression or anxiety? Emotional intelligence, crucial for healthy relationships and professional success, is rarely taught. Schools overlook teaching students to manage stress, anxiety, and emotions. As a result, youth mental health crises have skyrocketed, with unprecedented levels of anxiety, depression, and loneliness reported by the CDC and American Psychological Association. The CDC reports 42% of students feel persistently sad or hopeless. Daniel Goleman's research proves emotional intelligence predicts success more than IQ, yet it's absent from most classrooms. Chapter 5. The Practical Life Skills Gap. What if I told you a graduate can write a 5-page essay on Shakespeare but can't cook a meal or fix a leaking tap? Practical skills, like cooking, budgeting, taxes, or home maintenance, are seldom taught. A CNBC survey shows young adults struggling significantly with daily life skills, unprepared to handle basic responsibilities. This gap leaves young people feeling inadequate, stressed, and overwhelmed upon entering adulthood. Chapter 6. Weak Civic Education. What if I told you most students don't know how laws are made or how to influence policy? Schools rarely foster genuine civic engagement or social skills, leaving graduates unprepared for active citizenship or meaningful relationships. Pew Research highlights declining civic participation, political polarization, and relationship difficulties among young adults as direct outcomes of these educational gaps. Chapter 7. Schools Kill Creativity and Innovation. What if I told you the longer you stay in school, the less creative you become? Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk and Torrance creativity tests prove creativity drops sharply after early childhood. Seth Godin adds that students are conditioned for compliance rather than innovation or risk-taking, leading to fewer entrepreneurs, artists, or critical problem solvers, precisely what our rapidly changing world needs most. Chapter 8. Digital Literacy and Critical Thinking Crisis. What if I told you 96% of students can't identify bias online? Stanford research found that over 96% of students fail at critically evaluating digital information. Schools don't effectively teach students to recognize misinformation, propaganda, or online scams, leaving them vulnerable in our digital age. Chapter 9. Ignoring environmental responsibility and sustainability. What if I told you less than half of countries include climate change in their national curriculum? Despite the climate crisis, sustainability and environmental responsibility are minimally taught. UNESCO stresses the urgency for environmental education, yet schools largely ignore this, leaving generations ill-prepared to tackle environmental challenges. Chapter 10. Relationship skills ignored. What if I told you the #1 predictor of happiness, strong relationships, isn't taught in school? Schools rarely address essential communication skills or how to build healthy interpersonal relationships. Harvard studies demonstrate strong relationships as the most significant predictor of happiness and longevity. Without these skills, young adults face loneliness and relationship struggles. Chapter 11. No training in resilience. What if I told you schools prepare you for tests, not for life's failures? Critical skills like resilience and adaptability are almost entirely overlooked. As a result, young adults struggle significantly when faced with adversity, setbacks, or rapid societal changes, leaving them unable to cope effectively in real-world situations. APA studies show resilience training improves coping and reduces dropout rates, but it's not part of standard education. Chapter 12. No time management skills. What if I told you schools set deadlines but never teach you how to manage time? Effective time management and productivity techniques are rarely taught explicitly. Consequently, young adults often face chronic procrastination, stress, and struggle to balance personal and professional responsibilities. Harvard Business Review found proper time management training boosts productivity by 25%. Chapter 13. Lack of cultural awareness. What if I told you ignorance about other cultures fuels prejudice? Schools rarely educate students in cultural sensitivity or global awareness, increasing the risk of intolerance, prejudice, and social division. Pew Research links rising cultural polarization to lack of diversity education. Chapter 14. Incomplete sexual education. What if I told you avoiding honest conversations about sex doesn't protect kids, it harms them? Inconsistent and often inadequate sexual education leads to misinformation, misunderstandings around consent, and increased risks of STDs and teenage pregnancies. The Guttmacher Institute highlights significant gaps in comprehensive sex education. Chapter 15. What's the solution? We must rethink education completely. Advocating for real-life learning, project-based experiences, financial literacy courses, emotional intelligence training, practical skills workshops, digital literacy, civic education, resilience training, cultural sensitivity, and comprehensive sexual education. Alternative models like Montessori, democratic schooling, and unschooling emphasize independent thought, emotional well-being, and real-world skills, shaping not just workers but fulfilled human beings. Conclusion. Our current system isn't broken, it's working perfectly, doing exactly what it was designed to do: create obedient, compliant workers. But ask yourself, is that enough? Is it time we demanded an education system that prepares us not just for a job, but for life itself? Imagine how different your life would be if you'd learned real financial wisdom, emotional intelligence, healthy relationships, creativity, and how to discover purpose and meaning. The education scam is real, but it doesn't have to stay this way. It's time to teach thinking, not obedience. If we keep accepting the system as it is, we raise another generation that can follow orders but can't change the world. If we change it, we raise a generation that doesn't need permission to think.